interesting that this scenario was represented and repackaged to Harry in such a parallel way. It's just so blatant. You couldn't have written it better if it were written in a script. And what I think people are kind of focusing on, especially when he did give up his title, especially when he did leave, and he and Meghan came to America, what people are kind of focusing on is this great sacrifice that he's making. And again, his family is not a stranger to sacrifice for love. You know, his uncle did it, and it's something that also happens in the House of Windsor. So it's not a great surprise that he would do this. Again, knowing his mother, knowing what he watched growing up, it makes sense psychologically. You know, he's trying to recreate and trying to have a different outcome. It makes sense. But I think what people on the internet are kind of grasping onto is how far is too far in terms of sacrifice for your relationship. How far is too far? The problem of gender comes into play with Meghan's authenticity. I don't think it's a gender problem. I think it's a problem with her and her authenticity, and is she doing things for the right reasons? You know, is she leaving to build a better family, for her own mental health, to be closer with her partner? Like, what is happening? What are her reasons? Or is she creating this kind of narrative? I think that's what people are kind of latching onto. And the gender piece is just coming into play because she's a woman. But again, plenty of men have had their partners sacrifice, have children when they didn't want to have children, move across the world, move from countries, move away from their families, give up their job. Happens all the time, Women do this all the time for men. So we have to kind of think about it in the context of that and just say, well, how far is too far? How much is too much? I think the question to ask is really, what is that mechanism? What happens when you have a partner who sacrifices so much for you, their place in the world, their purpose, their duty? What makes the other partner, who is sort of the beneficiary of all that sacrifice, then feel as though, well, I have to move on now and I have to leave you and I don't feel like, when we first fell in love? What is that mechanism? What is that dance that people are doing? And I think the answer there is purpose and identity, and being your own person. There are plenty of stories of women who have given up their careers that they love to have kids, be a mom, which is wonderful, but then, the husband will leave them